All right, get in loser, we're going healing. Today, I want to talk about how our nervous system sometimes is running the show and is choosing a lot of things in our life. Sometimes we just don't have a say in it until we heal that part of us or until we regulate our nervous system. Sometimes you're not even attracting the relationships that you want in life. It's actually what your nervous system and what your subconscious wants. Sometimes you're attracting stress unconsciously into your life, or sometimes you're not even choosing how you respond to pain and joy. What you learned in your childhood and what you learned when you were 7 years old and how your nervous system was wired for survival mode, you're basically attracting everything in your adult life now from that time that you were 7 years old. It's just replaying what it knows because you haven't taught it anything new. You haven't taught it anything else. You think that your actions are actually your decisions, but you're actually just reacting to the trauma that still lives inside of you ever since you were in that phase of childhood. We think we're choosing the job. We think that we're choosing the partner. We think that we're choosing our coping mechanisms or coping styles. And most of the times, we're actually choosing things that feel familiar from our childhood. So, for example, if you went through a lot of chaos in your childhood, you will choose chaos in that job or in that relationship. You will actually kind of be attracted more to chaos in a partner. Could be your job, gives you the same amount of chaos that you had in childhood because it's just like a familiar feeling. Not only chaos, it could be overwhelm or it could be self-sabotage, or for example, emotional unavailability. Because when you were a child, your nervous system kind of correlated safety with those feelings, even if they hurt you and even if they sometimes bring you pain. And the reason being is that your body is clinging to something that it knows, and anything new that you may introduce to your body will feel scary. This is why at first, when we're trying to make a change in our lives, it brings us so much discomfort. So your body, in one way or another, tends to recreate that environment for itself so that it feels safe, even though in reality, this safe environment is holding you back in life a lot of the time. Your nervous system learns to survive by adapting to pain or by adapting to chaos or by adapting to emotionally unavailable people. Neglect, for example, you tend to push people away before they can hurt you because from childhood, you were used to that. Your body and your nervous system was used to that. Maybe sometimes you're isolating yourself because connection feels too scary or emotions feel like threats. Maybe that you're overworking too much just so that you can have this sense of chaos in your life because being calm actually means being unsafe. For example, you may feel that being the strong one brought you less shame because that's the shame that you felt when you were once vulnerable. This is the kicker, that you think that these are actually personality traits when they're just a trauma response. This is the only way that your body knew how to keep you alive. The first step to actually get out of this sort of mindset or change how your body is wired is to acknowledge and to accept the fact that maybe you're just used to old programming and this is not the way that it should be in adult life. And this is how you can start to rewire your nervous system. And this is the point, that you can start building a home or a safe place inside of yourself in your mindset and kind of teach your body to feel that safety once again and heal from the old programming. So this is the mindset shift that you need on this. First, you gotta notice your trigger and don't judge yourself for feeling that way. For example, if you are choosing a job that you know will overwhelm you, ask yourself, is this really my choice? Am I actually choosing that job for me because I actually want it? Or this is just my nervous system reacting? Every emotion is always an introduction or an invitation to look at the parts of yourself that you have kind of just avoided your entire life or suppressed. Once you realize the trigger and once you realize or notice the pattern, then practice some grounding techniques where you teach your body how to feel safe again. For example, in yoga, there's a lot of yoga practices that you can do in order to kind of bring back that awareness into your body and feel present in the moment and not necessarily have your mind wandering in other places, scanning for danger, or how being in fight or flight mode tends to make you feel. Practice some breathing techniques, practice some grounding techniques, and always check in with yourself. Make it a habit that you ask yourself and you validate yourself for the way that you feel. For example, if you feel fearful of something, ask yourself why you feel that way. Dig deep and find out what it is that's making you feel that way. Even if, for example, you just schedule some time in your day to bring in some moments of silence or moments of calm so that you can teach your body that hey, we're not in danger. Bit by bit, your body will start kind of reprogramming itself. Allow yourself to sit in that that discomfort for a little bit, because the unknown for sure will feel scary at once because you're introducing something to your body that it doesn't know, and your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is not. So your nervous system will kind of try to protect you by resisting, giving you those feelings of resistance. So you just have to kind of like practice, teach it how to feel safe again. And healing your nervous system does not always have to be like in solitude and by yourself. You can also do things like co-regulation and stuff like that. So for example, if you feel that you have a friend that you can trust, or like a family member that you can trust, they make you feel safe, your nervous system kind of feels safe around them, then you can kind of teach your body that like, hey, people can be safe, and connection does not always have to feel like a threat. And most importantly of all, reparent your inner child and your younger self. And while you were in survival mode, you had some things that were holding you back, and you were only trying to survive with what you had at the time. But now you have the tools and you have the awareness to reprogram yourself again.